Hi, everyone. Pete. Okay, if you guys can't hear me at any point, just raise your hands. Or actually, don't do that, because I'm not going to be looking up. Just yell. So my name is Pete. I'm a co-founder of a company called Optimizely. And we make it really, really easy to A/B test websites or split test websites. So I'm not really sure the makeup of this audience. How many of you guys have websites or work at a company that has a website? Not a big surprise. How many of you have ever A/B tested or split tested that website? That's pretty good. So just a really 30-second overview of what A/B testing is. It's making a change to your website. So maybe you take your Buy It Now button and change it from red to green, or make it say Learn More, and then measure the effect that that has on your traffic. So maybe by making that change, 10% more people will actually click through and maybe purchase a product or learn more. So what Optimizely does is it makes it really easy to start and run these kinds of tests on your website. So what I'm going to do is set up a really simple experiment on the website for this very meetup. And I'm on our homepage right now. I'm going to click Give It a Try. And what's going to happen now is that Optimizely is going to load this website into our editor. And from there, I'll be able to make changes to the website very easily. So here's the website itself. So you can see at the top of the screen, here's Optimizely's interface. I have a couple different tabs. I have the original page, and I have what we call Variation 1. And those look exactly the same because I haven't made any changes yet. And over here, we have some other controls, like Start Experiment, Save Experiment, Undo, Redo, and a bunch of other stuff. So my whole job here is to try and increase the number of people who become interested in this event once they see this website. So I'm just going to make a couple changes here. The first thing, I really like this logo at the top of the page, but I feel like we can make this a little more compelling. What I'm going to do is I'm going to change the image, and I'm going to browse. I have an alternate version on my desktop. So just blue sky, bathing suits, water. Really, it's a little more tropical, I guess. And then down here, I see that there's an awful lot of text on this website. One thing we find out is that people don't like reading text, especially large blocks of text. This is very tongue-in-cheek. I think your website's great, sorry. So I'm gonna just make a slight shift and cut down on the text here. I'm gonna select this block and just remove it, and make it a little more graphical here. And then I'm gonna change up the Let's Meet Up, and I'll change the text here to Bay Area Tech Meetup and Singles Event. All right. And then one last change I'll make is there's a little Count Me In button here. And I'm just going to move that right up here where everyone's eyes go. So I have an alternative version now of this website. And if I were to actually start the experiment at this point, I'll save it first. It'll remind me that in order to actually run this experiment, I need a single line of JavaScript to be sitting at the top of this website. And that's one of the big differentiators that Optimizely offers, is that you only have to have one line of code added to your site. And once that's on there, you never actually have to touch your website code again. So this tool is built for people who are marketers, who are salespeople, who are product managers, who don't necessarily have access to the code of a website, or maybe just don't want to go through the hassle of changing that every time you want to start or stop a test. So I've started the experiment, and I'm not going to show you the results for this experiment because it's not real, but I will show you the results of another experiment. Let's see, I had it on Firefox. So here is an experiment that we actually ran on our own website. We tested, we have a Get Started button, and we started with the text Get Started, and we tried several other versions of this button. We ran this experiment for a couple days, and so you can see here there were 12,000 unique visitors who saw this experiment, and they were split between original page, try it out, test it out, and give it a try. And what we found is that when we looked at the percentage of visitors who actually went through and clicked on that button, there was almost a 30% lift when we used test it out or give it a try versus the original page. This is a really big change in the percentage of people who actually go through our conversion pipeline. It's really valuable. So that's just basically Optimize in a nutshell. I'm happy to answer any questions. I think it's pretty clear how valuable this can be to e-commerce sites, even sites that depend on ad revenue for their existence. That's optimizing. What's up? Yeah.
So how do you distribute the visitors, and can you control that? Like
Yes.
geography or randomly?
Yes. So the question was, how do we distribute the visitors, and can you control that? And randomly, and yes.
Wow. Are you going to add more control, or?
Yes. So, well, you can pause certain variations if they're not doing well, and basically we just decide at random for every single incoming visitor which one they should see. Sorry, there are a couple other parameters. You can say, I only want people who are coming from AdWords to see this experiment, or only from this campaign, or only visitors who are logged in, or a lot of controls beyond that, but yeah.
Why would you limit it to just marketing, sales, and product management?
That's a great question. It's not limited to just those things. So actually, for the techies in the room, what's actually going on behind the scenes is that each of these changes I'm making in the editor is being encoded as a line of JavaScript. And if you are comfortable with JavaScript, there's a little button at the bottom right-hand corner of the screen that's called Edit Code. You can click that, and you can see here the exact JavaScript code that will create this variation, that will demonstrate, or that will display this variation to a visitor. So if you're comfortable with JavaScript, you can go in there and you can do something like, I don't know, change all of the links on the page to, let's see, CSS green. So you can see all these links turn green. So you can really do, that wasn't a very impressive example, but there's quite a bit you can do with JavaScript on a page.
Can I ask the question a different way?
Yes?
So when you're in product management, you've got requirements tested, you've got a list of requirements. Could you use it from a product management inbound perspective to suss and stack rank your requirements?
Do you mean to determine the priority of different requirements for a product?
Yeah, that's one way of looking at it.
Yeah, in some cases you can. I mean, if you can, so optimizing is really best for kind of cosmetic changes that don't require like large server-side changes. So if you can, there are a couple of different ways you can test things where maybe it's like a month of engineering implementation time and you want to decide if that's worth it or not. If you can mock up something that at least gauges whether people are interested in this feature, or maybe does some of the basic functionality, then yeah, that's a great way to do it.
So you could use it potentially for development and product management?
Yeah, I mean, as an engineer myself, I'd only go so far with development. Like I wouldn't write, 10,000 lines of code in this little box right here and actually push that to production. But yeah, there are quite a few things you can do. Maybe you have some of the code hosted on your server. Yeah, if you just want to test it, yes.
Thanks.
How cross-browser compatible are you, and or do you choose to target specific browsers?
That's a good question. So to answer the second question first, if you want to run an experiment that only targets Firefox users, you can do that. It's pretty easy. All of this code right here, I don't know if you guys can see this, but it's all jQuery code. And jQuery's made an awful lot of effort to make their code cross-browser compatible. There's never a guarantee that when I create a variation in Chrome, it's going to look just as good in IE6. But we just try to make that as happen as often as possible. We also have a feature where you can click a button and it will open up this page in 9 different browsers and give you a screenshot of each one. So that's just, we just try to make it faster to detect problems when there are them.
Do you use the metadata that you collect on the best improvements and share it among users?
Share between our customers?
Yes.
No, because some of our customers compete with each other. And yeah, it's a bit of a sensitive thing.
How much do you charge for this program? Is it a monthly fee?
Yeah, so it's a subscription. And the charges really range. They range from $20 a month up to, for our largest customers, several $1,000s a month. And it all depends on how much traffic you get and how much support you want.
Last question?
It looks nicely developed. How long have you guys been around? Where are you as a company?
Thank you. We've been around for a little more than a year and a half now. We were in Y Combinator winter of last year. We raised a little over $1 million early last year, and we are now generating revenue and doing really well. Thank you.
Great, thank you.
Okay.